Hi, JSA. Today we'll be playing a game called Where in the World.
Today's participants include Sophia, Shabrea, Josie, and me, Jediah.
So what we'll be doing is asking this mystery person questions to figure out who he is and where he lives.
Thank you for joining us today. Now let's get started.
Do you live in the northern or southern hemisphere?
Oven.
Southern. What time is it right now where you live at?
Oh. 4:51.
Okay. Do y'all speak like a different language where you live?
No.
Okay.
Who is in charge in your country?
Prime Minister.
What's the weather?
Warm.
Do you celebrate different holidays than us?
Okay. Some different holidays.
Are you British? Are you in England? I think he's
Please.
Australia.
not in England.
Has to be.
All right,
Aiden thinks it's Australia.
I almost said Arizona.
mystery guest, are you in Australia?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
good, Sophie.
Only our second guess. Well, Aiden, my phone's buzzing. It's Aiden. She's like, he sounds Australian. And it's warm.
I was going to say.
I didn't even know she was
Australia.
playing. I would have introduced her in the intro.
Shout out to Aiden. Shout out to Aiden for helping us.
Good job, Aiden. You
Awesome.
deserve a round of
It takes a
applause.
team. It takes a team. Okay. Mystery guest, could you actually pronounce your name for us?
Carl Stefano.
Stefano. Okay. Because I had never actually, I was telling the kids that I had never actually heard you speak before. And they thought it was like kind of strange that we communicate almost every morning. Stefano. I didn't say it right. Speak. And I don't know if you want to turn your camera on. If you want to turn your camera on, that would be great. If you don't want to, that's fine too.
Please.
Yeah. Well, there we go. It's pretty right.
Oh!
Exciting. I'm in my shed, so it's not that exciting. But yes. I had to leave the house because at this time in the morning I'd be waking everybody up because it is nearly 5 o'clock in the morning.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, yes, it's
Correct.
Wednesday. Yes. I was hoping the sun would be rising soon, but no, it's very dark outside still.
So it's Wednesday where you live?
Yes, it's Wednesday. It's definitely
That's
Wednesday.
cool.
It's Tuesday where we live. I'm confused.
Yeah, I know. It's because like they're like a lot of hours ahead of us, probably.
Time zones, right?
What do we say, 16?
Okay, so Mr. Stefano, tell us about yourself, what you do. I'm eager to hear beyond just being a teacher, some of the other cool things that you do as well.
Okay, yes, I am a teacher. I also am on an alpaca farm, which is very not Australian, but that's okay. I'm on an alpaca farm here. There's probably, I have to have a look and see what's going on. It's probably not going to work. We're going to be dark in here, but we're going to go see what's going on. I know, it's dark. It's dark. I should have had some lined up out here. No good. There's my chickens up there. You probably can't hear them very well. Yes, we have yeah, it would have been nice if I could show you some alpacas, but they're somewhere out there in the dark. We've got about 65 alpacas here. We've got a bunch of chickens. We've got a few dogs up the hill. What else have we got here? There's some geese wandering around.
So what do you do with the alpaca?
We farm them. I suppose we breed them, so we sell a lot as pets. We also have their wool, which we sell and get spun up. Yeah, and most of the time I just spend my time chasing after them and keeping them happy, making sure they're fed and got water and stuff like that. It's a hobby.
Sounds like a fun hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're on school holidays at the moment. We're on our summer break. Yeah, I can see that's Thronia. So we're on our summer break.
Lucky.
Yeah. I go back to school Friday next week. The students don't go back until the 1st, I think. So they don't go back Friday the week after. And they've been on holiday since, we've been on holiday since December the 14th. I think the students been on holiday since about December the 4th or 5th or something. So it's about a 6-week summer break. And in that time, I've hardly left the property, which is handy for me because I've got lots of space. But I know because we really can't go on holidays at the moment here either. We can't leave our state. I don't know how things are where you are. But, up all our borders, people are everywhere, and then they suddenly shut our borders, and some people there's this mad rush of people trying to get home 2 weeks ago. But we never went anywhere, so we've got a farm to hang out on.
And that's cool. And just because I saw some confusion, remember, Southern Hemisphere means that they have the exact opposite seasons of where we are.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're winter, they're summer. Remember the whole tilt of the Earth type thing.
Yeah.
So just kind of keep that in mind. So.
Yeah, and we have where I am. I'm towards the south of Australia. Now this is when you think of Australia, you flip it over with the US as well. So the south of Australia is the coolest area, and as you go north, warmer parts. So we're cool, but we're not that cold. We don't get snow. We're not cool enough to get snow, but our winters might be, just cold and miserable, wet and miserable. We don't actually get to snow. Summer today, I think, is going to be, I've got to think of it in Fahrenheit. It's going to be, I think, about 33 degrees, which must be in the 90s. And we've actually had a miserable summer. We haven't had too many really hot days yet, luckily.
We're in Florida here, so it's rather, I don't know. A lot of people here thinks it's chilly. I think the highs are in the 70 degrees. So it's like down to, I think it was like down in like the upper 50s. So a lot of these ladies and gentlemen, they find it chilly, whereas it gets a lot colder in northern areas here.
Josie, is someone being like attacked in the background? What is going on?
Okay.
Someone's murdered, but that's
Somebody was screaming in the background.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions? You're talking to somebody who's like literally on the bottom of
Can
the
it
world.
snow in Australia?
I forgot. Is it alpacas that spit at people or llamas? Or is it neither? I forgot.
People always say,
Okay.
they spit, but the spit thing is, it's their defense. And usually you're only going to get spat on if you get between a mum and a baby or something like that. Usually they just run away from you is what they'd rather do. They're pretty cute. They keep themselves. They kick as well. That's the other thing they do.
Oh, I know that has to hurt.
Yeah, it's not as bad as a horse or something. It's more like
Horses are.
It's like good.
Luke Hemsworth.
Okay, so when you go on holiday in Australia, where do you go? Do you have like how far away are you from like the Sydney Opera House? Is that like a feasible thing for you to is that like a weekend trip or?
Yeah, that would be. That would take me a day to drive. You fly there in an hour. Where people going on holiday, I suppose the big holiday places people go north, like into Queensland, which is probably our Florida. Really, it's it's the warm beaches and the sun and so forth. Here I'm in Victoria, so in Victoria. You'd probably go camping. One of those places where what do you do in Victoria if you're on holidays? It's a lot of you go to the beaches or you go see the penguins. That's a big thing here. People come to.
Is Outback in Australia?
Yes, it is. Yes. How would you describe that? That's, I guess, if you actually think of America, even though our weather's the other way around, I'm in Florida. Outback would be Kansas or something like that. It'd be like the middle, somewhere around there.
There's Starbucks there.
Starbucks.
Yes.
Is it a good depiction of Australian food?
What does that mean?
Outback. We have the Outback.
I think he meant
restaurant.
Outback, the restaurant. Yeah, we have a restaurant here that has.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Australian or no.
No, we don't. I've seen it because I was in the US 2 years ago, but no, we don't have the restaurant. No.
Aw.
All right. So what is Australian food? Like, what would be like considered? This is like Australian style food.
Probably. You'd go to say barbecue. We probably would have a lot of lamb and things like that. So it's not very exciting Australian food in general. A meat pie, which is something that people would eat when they go to the football. I think you guys are into hot dogs at the football. We have a pie at the football. Other than that, it's very. We tend to just steal food from everybody else.
Oh, that's that's new.
And for the guys, I'm thinking that if you're talking like Outback as a restaurant, then probably the big chains here would be a McDonald's.
McDonald's is everywhere.
KFC, yeah. They're probably the big ones. There's Hungry Jack's, which is actually Burger King, and I don't know why it's called different. It's exactly the same thing. Yeah, they're your big chains. Subway. Yeah, but there's a lot. You've got a lot more of those chains than we do.
Okay, so where you are at in the southern end of Australia, there are penguins in Australia.
Yes, there are penguins.
All right, so
Not where I am. Oh, well, it's not that far away. An hour away, yeah. And we get a lot of tourists from Japan here, and that's their big thing. They come here and they want to go to see the penguins. Yes, fairy penguins in a place called Phillip Island.
What is your favorite thing about Australia?
I don't know. It's I think I like the fact it's a pretty quiet place. Not much happens.
We
and I
can
like
never have that at Jewett.
Y'all call candy lollies?
Yeah, we call them lollies. Yes, we do. And we call the other one we use. I think that we have is biscuits. Biscuits is cookie. Yes.
Bryce says, "Does it snow often?"
Does it snow often? No. For most of Australia, no. We might get a little bit of snow here once every 3 or 4 years, but wouldn't stay on the ground. Just enough to fall in the air on a cold day in winter. No, it doesn't snow much. There are mountains where it snows, but there's nowhere in Australia where there's snow all year.
Oh, it doesn't snow at all over here.
No.
Not fair.
So even where people might go skiing and that, it's only snows for about 6 weeks of the year or something. A lot of people actually go to New Zealand to go skiing.
Amir asks, "Is it usually warm often?"
Yeah, it's not really hot, but it is warm. Yeah, comparatively. We don't get that many really hot days. Although I'm in a big bushfire area, so we tend to worry about hot. So we've been lucky. We haven't had a bad bushfire through here now for about 10, 11 years. And they always say they come about every 12, 13 years because it has to do with how much the forest's grown and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're always...
So you weren't around all the bushfires last year?
No, we weren't, no. One of our kids was on holidays up there and got evacuated. But no, that wasn't near us. we had we were safe last year. Our last big fires here were 2010.
I think it's really hard because we here, when we hear news from Australia, see anything from Australia, it's always like Australia, and we don't really have like any reference point to it. So when they were like saying Australia's burning, it's like we're oh, everything's burning.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, what part of it did it get?
Yeah. What happened last year was it got very close to Sydney. And I mean, there's probably two things happened last year. One is the smoke stayed around for a long, long time. So once the smoke starts getting to the cities, everybody starts to worry about it. You know, it sounds terrible, but when it's just burning in the country, it's like, oh yeah, that one little town over there. Once the smoke starts getting to the cities, people worry about it. The other thing that happened last year was it happened near New Year's Eve. A lot of people were on holiday. So there was a lot of people that found themselves in the fires when they don't normally live there when they're on holiday. So it was a bit nasty last year because people were having to get evacuated everywhere because they were not in their homes, they were out camping or something like that.
Bryce asks, what are big chip brands there? He's just interested in food.
Chips.
Like potato chips. Do y'all even have potato chips there?
Yeah, we do have potato chips. I'm going to think of the big brand.
Ooh. That sounds yummy. Okay, stop.
Okay, so what are the flavors of potato chips there?
Flavors, usually just the big ones are plain. Salt and vinegar is a big one. Salt and vinegar is a big one. Your chicken flavor.
Chicken? They have chicken here.
Yeah, a chicken flavored chips is the most ridiculous thing because it does not taste like chicken. I don't know what it tastes like. They call it chicken flavor. You go, chicken tastes like this. These chips taste like something else. It's barbecue flavor, but salt and vinegar I think is a big one.
Last year, Lay's tried to go out into the pickle flavor, so they had fried pickled chips and normal pickled chips at Publix.
What type of cereal do they have?
Cereal. Oh, the more boring brands. So cornflakes, Cocoa Pops, Rice Bubbles, Nutri-Grain is a big one.
Do they have the same names? Like you don't have the same names?
No, probably not. No, and you have a lot more brands of all sorts of things.
They have nasty flavors sometimes. Like they be mixing up cereal. And, yeah.
All right, so what is your school like? We're at a school of the arts, so what they call a school of choice. So we draw kids from like all over our area. Where they're supposed to be like art majors, like they have 2D, 3D art, orchestra, band. So what is your school like?
Okay. We don't specialize in anything, but we this is going to sound weird. We are a boys' school. I don't know why. Because there was a girls' school nearby. They built a boys' school as well. This was 50 years ago, and we just are. To high school, we go from you say grade, we say years. We go from 7 to 12. It's the things our school's really good at. I think we've got a strong music program. We're very good at sport. There's actually our big football here is the AFL. There's actually 2 AFL coaches that went to our school at one stage, so everyone gets very excited about that. They probably don't care, but you know the school likes to get excited. It's funny that the school is actually located right at the bottom of beautiful mountains with great trees. It's called the Dandenong Ranges. It looks fantastic. The school's kind of down in a dumpy like area next to all the used cars and funeral homes and boring things like that, because I suppose that's where the flat land was. It's a nice school. I'm just thinking it's an old building. Like a lot of places, it's about 50 years old. Yeah.
Bryce asks, is there an event for New Year's, or do you watch America's the next day?
Usually on New Year, it's like the fireworks on the Sydney Harbour Bridge is the big one. We have fireworks in Melbourne as well. So yeah, that's what usually happens. Usually fireworks. This year there was none of that because of COVID. They didn't have any. I think they had the fireworks, but they didn't have nobody went to it. You had to watch it on the television. Yeah.
Oh,
Do you guys have we have Disneyland and Lego
like what type of
and
amusement
Universal.
park?
Do you guys have big commercial parks there?
Yeah, there's the big ones are up in Queensland, and it's what Dream World and Water World and
That sounds fun.
yeah. I think what they're called, but there's 4 of them up there in Queensland. There's a few smaller ones around, but they're not like those ones. They're the ones that people get all excited about going to. Yeah. Yeah. Keep
Okay,
coming up
so-
with
I'm sorry. More questions, Janaya? Questions, Josie? Questions, Sabrea?
Bryce asks, is television more popular than the word TV? Oh,
Okay. Now, do we say TV or do we say television? We probably say TV.
yeah.
Do you have
Tell-
stores like Walmart, Target, stores like that?
Yeah, Target, yes. No, Walmart, Kmart, supermarkets. We have Woolworths and Coles are our big ones, and then the fancy department stores, I think, is called Myers, but there's not that many of them around. But yeah, Target, Walmart, not Walmart, Target, Kmart. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. There's not too. Yeah, they're the big ones.
So what
Big
kind
W.
what kind of programs do you have on television? We have a
Okay,
lot of
we have-
reality TV type stuff.
That seems a big thing at the moment. And what they seem to do is they just take the same show, but they just film it over here. So Survivor or The Bachelor or all those sorts of things. Or the TV. I don't know if we have a lot of those house renovation shows, The Block and things like that. That seems to be the big. Yeah, it's mainly reality television. And we just seem to roll from one reality show to another. MasterChef, things like that.
Bryce says, what age do you have to be?
Bryce asks, what age do you have to be for a driver's license?
Oh, 18. You have to be 18 here to drive.
Oh,
Did you say 8?
18.
I was gonna say I'm moving to Australia.
No, it's worse. Got the dog barking now.
So what kind of vehicles do people drive? They're around here. We have a lot of pickup trucks and SUVs and Jeeps and things like that. So what kind of vehicles are driven around there?
Probably smaller. I've got a little Toyota Corolla, which is so my wife does have a pickup truck, but that's because we live on a farm and we need to be able to tow the float, which is there's my tractor. There's my float in the background. Yeah. I think our cars tend to be a bit smaller. I'm trying to think because some of the I'll say words and they won't mean anything because they'll just be brand names that are different. But there's a lot of Ford and Holden are the main cars, and Toyota. I don't think you get Holden, but they tend to be more middle-sized car. Nothing. We don't get them that big. Our petrol's a lot more expensive than yours as well. A lot more. Do the maths, but I think at the moment it's about $1.20 a litre, which must make it about close to $4.50, $5 a gallon, something like that.
Bryce asks, do you see snakes often or tarantulas?
Definitely not tarantulas. Do I see snakes often? I don't see them, but I know they're around. In reality, I think the last few snakes I've seen them as I've gone over them with a lawnmower accidentally. It's you find a bit of snake. Black snakes, red belly black snakes. We got a lot of around here. They actually say that they're good ones to have because they scare away other snakes. You'll usually find a snake near water. So where I am here, when I'm near the animals' water troughs, so we've got a dam. That's where the snakes are likely to be.
Amir asks, do you have different kinds of shoes there than here?
No, it's okay. I've got a student at school who's obsessed by shoes. I think we have the usual brands. I think in terms of shoes, we probably follow the American model. A lot of people will buy whatever you guys have got over there. So we've got pretty much the same. Yeah, the guys that are into shoes are definitely buying their shoes from America. It's like, no, Nike.
Do you guys say Nikes or Nikes? I don't know.
We say Nike, I think. Nike, yeah.
What did Bryce accident?
Nike? I don't know.
Oh, Nike.
Do you like
I think we say-
pronounce the Y?
Nike. Yeah, we say Nike. Yeah.
Nike.
I think it's one of those ones everyone wonders what to say, like GIF or GIF. You know? It's like,
Okay, we are running short on time. We only got a few more minutes, so I'm going to stop the recording. So I'm going to stop that. Sophia, did you want to do a closing?
Joseph,
No.
Thank you for joining us, JSA. Have a good day and bye.
enjoy yourselves. Good to meet you all. I'll head back down to the house.